Hello everyone, good day. Today I'm going to be showing you a demonstration of the work I and my team carried out during the course of this year. We designed a closed loop for an autonomous network that manages, import, export, and optimize knowledge, both structured and unstructured data within and outside the system. And we implemented this using some tool sets such as the Neo4j graph database, the raml.yaml Python library, as well as Xopera to validate the generated service template. So to interact with my Neo4j database, I've included the credentials to my Neo4j account. I've also installed the Neo4j library and also imported the necessary modules and classes. Now we created this helper class to help ease interaction with the Neo4j library. So it contains methods which will help us create nodes, update the nodes, as well as establish relationships between these nodes. I have instantiated this class, passing in my username as well as my password. And then to have a fresh start, I'm going to erase any existing data we have in our database. So if I come over to my Neo4j database and execute this command, you can see that we do not have any data in our Neo4j database. That's because I just erased any existing data. Now, from the FGAN use case document, my team and I focused on use case 001, which talks about the import and export of knowledge in an autonomous network. And we have some nodes such as the knowledge base, the knowledge base manager, the AN orchestrator, as well as the relationships that exist between these nodes. Now with this, I'm going to load the use case into my Neo4j database. So now it's creating actors as well as establishing relationships between these actors. And now it's done. So I'm just going to request for all the actors for use case 001. So now let me print that out. So you can see the AN orchestrator, the auto controller generator, and so on and so forth. So if I go over to my Neo4j database and execute this same command, you can now see that we have data. So we have nodes now in our Neo4j graph database. You can see we have the controller node, the OpenCN, the auto controller generator, and so on and so forth, as well as relationships that exist between these nodes. So if we go over to Colab, now we have successfully loaded in our use case into our Neo4j graph database. Now I want to convert the use case in our graph database into service template. And to do that, we are using the raml.yaml Python library. So I've installed it here, and I've also imported the necessary classes from the raml.yaml library. And then we have also written this function to translate the use case in the graph database into service template for the network orchestrator. So now, if I go out to my file explorer, you can see that we do not have the service template file here. But when I execute this command, I am going to create a service template file for use case 001. Okay, so if I come over here to refresh, you can see that we now have a service template file. And if I open it, now you can see our service template. Next is to validate this service template file. And to do that, we are using Xopera. So over here, I'm going to execute this statement to deploy the use case 001 service.yaml file. And you can see Opera has successfully validated and deployed a service template along with all the nodes, AN orchestrator, the controller, as well as ML pipeline, and so on and so forth. And now to round it all up, we are going to undeploy our service template file. Now, my team and I took this a step further by translating any use case in the FGAN use case document into service templates that can be deployed to a network orchestrator. Let me close all these tabs. And so over here, just as we have done for use case 001, I'll do the same for use case 002. And now that's done. So if I go over to my Neo4j graph database and execute the same command, you can see that we now have some new nodes for use case 002. And yes, that's it. Let's go back to Colab. Okay, and now I will load the remaining use case, and that's use case 003. to use case 040 from the FGAN document. And okay, so let me speed that up. So now we are done. We have successfully loaded all our use case from use case 001 to use case 40 into our Neo4j graph database. So if we go to our Neo4j and execute the same statement, we can now see all our use case from use case 001 to use case 40. Now let's go back to Colab. Now we'll generate service template files for each of the use case, which can be deployed on a network orchestrator. Now, if I go over to my file explorer and reload, you can see all the use cases from use case 001 down to use case 40. And now with the help of Xopera, we can deploy any of those use cases and later on deploy. So with this, we have successfully translated our use case, which is in natural language, into service template for network management.